Hi, friends, it's Misty and Cuddles. So, last week we talked about my favorite book, which is The Three Billy Goats Gruff. And we talked about how the Billy Goat was strong and how he protected his brothers. And I really like that story because I think that I try to do that for people as well. Try to be protective and try to look out for people and be brave and strong. Well, Cuddle's story is about bravery too. It's about being strong too. It's about being brave and strong in a different way though. Yeah. So this book is called Owl Moon. I'm glad you're excited, Cuz. Um, so Cuddle's story won the Caldecott Medal in 1988. That means they won a literature award. That is so cool. I don't know if the Three Billy Goats Gruff won a literature award, but I know that that's really special that Cuddle's favorite story did. But Cuddles, if that story won an award in 1988, it must be a pretty mature story. And you're a brand new bear, right? You're not a brand new bear? You're an older bear. How old are you, Cuddles? Really? Guys, can you believe this? Look at Cuddles. Cuddles is big 5. He's big 5 like me. I'm big 5 too. Yes, I'm big 5 too, Cuddles. We're big 5 together. Big 5 twin. Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm talking about. Fist bump. Well, anyway, so, um, but it's a very peaceful story. So you must have been a person that's been rather peaceful and quiet for a long time, huh? That's cool. I can appreciate that. Well, we're gonna read your story now. Is that okay? Yeah, let's read your story. It's called Owl Moon. I'm gonna sit next to you. Now I'm gonna try to read it like I usually read the stories, but the words are kind of small. It was late one winter night, long past my bedtime, when Pa and I went owling. There was no wind, the trees stood still as giant statues, and the moon was so bright the sky seemed to shine. Somewhere behind us, a train whistle blew, long and low, like a sad, sad song. That's so beautiful. Snow is very pretty. I don't like living in it, but it's very pretty. Don't you think so, Cuddles? I like warm weather though. I could deal with rain much better than snow. Yeah. I could hear it through the woolen cap Pa had pulled down over my ears. The farm dog answered the train, and then a second dog joined in. They sang out trains and dogs for a long, long time, and when their voices faded away, it was as quiet as a dream. We walked on towards the woods, Pa and I. See that? John Schoner, he drew this so beautifully because the trees are so big, and I really love trees. Especially like in the fall when the leaves change color, when they change to yellow and red and brown. Oh, I love to see the leaves change color. Don't you, Cuddles? I love to see that. Yeah, and that's a reason why I moved down to Georgia because they have a lot of trees. Another story for another day. Our feet crunched over the crisp snow, and little gray footprints followed us. Pa made a long shadow, but mine was short and round. I had to run after him, even every now and then, to keep up, and my short, round shadow bumped after me. But I never called out. If you go owling, you have to be quiet. That's what Pa always says. Oh, you have to be quiet. Shh. I have been wondering, I have been waiting to go owling with Pa for a long, long time. We reached the line of pine trees, black and pointy against the sky, and Pa held up his hand. I stopped right where I was and waited. He looked up, as if searching the trees, as if searching the stars, as if reading a map up there. The moon made his face into a silver mask. Then he called, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh," the sound of a great horned owl. Ooh, 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 ooh. Mm. Pop calling for the owl, and I'm standing next to him. Again he called out, and then again. After each call he was silent, and for a moment we both listened, but there was no answer. Pa shrugged, and I shrugged. I was not disappointed. My brothers all said, "Sometimes there's an owl, and sometimes there isn't." Oh, and then there's a raccoon or something in the tree. We walked on. I could feel the cold as if someone's icy hand was palmed down on my back, and my nose at the tops of my cheeks felt cold and hot at the same time. But I never said a word. If you go owling, you have to be quiet and make your own heat. Yeah, snow is very pretty, but snow is very cold, so you really have to dress warm. Really have to dress warm. We went into the woods. The shadows were the blackest things I had ever seen. They stained the white snow. My mouth felt furry, for the scarf over it was wet and warm. I didn't ask what kinds of things hide behind black trees in the middle of the night. When you go owling, you have to be brave. I'll tell you why I laughed in a minute. Then we came to a clearing in the dark woods. The moon was high above us. It seemed to fit exactly over the center of the clearing, and the snow below it was whiter than the milk in a cereal bowl. Such beautiful pictures. I love these illustrations. They're so beautiful. I sighed, and Pa held up his hand at the sound. I put my mittens over the scarf over my mouth and listened hard, and then Pa called, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh." I listened and looked so hard my eyes hurt, and my eyes got cloudy with the cold. Pa raised his face to call out again, but before he could open his mouth, an echo came threading its way through the woods. Ooh, 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 ooh. Oh, Pa almost smiled. Then he called back. Ooh, 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 ooh. Just as if he and the owl were talking about supper or about the woods or the moon or the cold. I took my mitten off the scarf off my mouth and I almost smiled too. Okay, I'm gonna show you the picture first. You see that part right there? That's the owl. And the trees, and then there they are. That's the owl. I love these illustrations. They are so cool. The owl's call came closer from high up in the trees on the edge of the meadow. Nothing in the meadow moved. All of a sudden, an owl shadow, part of the big tree shadow, lifted off and flew right over us. We watched silently with heat in our mouths, the heat of all those words we had not spoken. The shadow hooted again. Pa turned on his big flashlight and caught the owl just as it was landing on a branch. For 1 minute, 3 minutes, maybe even 100 minutes, we stared at one another. Then the owl pumped its great wings and lifted off the branch like a shadow without sound. It flew back into the forest. Time to go home, Pa said to me. I knew then I could talk. I could even laugh out loud. But I was a shadow as we walked home. That's the flashlight. When you go owling, you don't need words or warmth or anything but hope. That's what Pa says. The kind of hope that flies on silent wings under a shining owl moon. And Pa is carrying him in his arms. The end. That is a really good story, Cuddles. I'm so glad. I'm glad that you like it, sweet pea. I'm glad. So this story taught me a little bit about being brave. And it taught me about how you can be strong even in quiet. Making your muscles, huh? Yeah, I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm strong. I'm mighty and I'm he man. I'm strong. I'm strong. Big, big, strong man. Mm, mm, mm. Okay, guys. But it's true. Like, you never realize when people are quiet that they're going through a lot of stuff. You never realize that they're they're being strong when they're quiet. Because, people usually associate being strong with being loud and boisterous and assertive. But you could be reserved and calm and quiet. And that shows stronger strength. Have you ever seen or heard of that movie Godfather? Yeah. Um, if you watch that, and I've watched it plenty of times because my mother loves that movie. Yeah, she does. If you watch that, The Godfather, he's not loud. He's not assertive and boisterous, and he does not draw attention to himself. No, The Godfather is very quiet, and when he talks to you, he talks very low and somber. And he might even be angry. I've heard him yell a couple of times throughout the movie, but most times when he's angry, he'll just say, I'm not very happy about that. And he'll say it really calm and quiet. And I've always admired that kind of strength, because that does take a lot of strength to be quiet. Calm, quiet strength is stronger than boisterous, loud strength. Did you know that, Cuddles? It seems like it'd be the opposite way, but I think quiet strength is much stronger than loud strength. Excuse me. And I appreciate your story because your story has quiet strength. My story has loud strength, kind of loud strength, because he wasn't really asking for trouble. The third Billy Goat said, You got a problem? I got your problem. But this story, Our Moon, says, I'm going to be brave in adversity. I'm going to be brave because I don't know what's in these woods. I don't know what's in the woods. And there could be anything in the woods, and it's scary. But I'm brave. And that's partially because they had their dad with them. And and he wanted to be brave for his dad. He wanted his dad to be successful in finding out. Mhm. Okay, and really fast, the part where I laughed? Well, that just reminds me why I don't really like to wear scarves. And it's because He said his face was wet and warm. So it was wet because, when you breathe, your air is moist from your nose or your mouth. And then sometimes your nose might run a little bit. And now it just made me laugh because it's a little nasty. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but it's true. I don't like to wear scarves for that very reason. Not over my face. I don't really like to wear scarves anyway, but like definitely not over my face for that very reason. Yeah, when it's cold outside, I'm just gonna turn around from the wind. I'm just gonna turn my back towards the wind so that it won't blow in my face. uh, oh man, that's funny. I'm sorry, that was funny. But yeah, thank you for sharing your story with us today, Cuddles. And thank you for sharing how old you are with us, Cuddles. I never would have guessed that you were big five. My gosh, that's cool. While we're saying all these different acknowledgments and everything, I want to say hello to Emmanuel, Faith, Peter, Paul, John, and Mary. And I want to say hello to Chris. And I'm feeling especially generous today. I want to shout out to my children today. Is that okay, Cuddles? I want to say hello to Sydney. That's my daughter. And then my sons, Ronald, Jason, and Jeremiah. We call Ronald RJ. Excuse me. So I really wanted to say hi to them today. Because I haven't shouted them ever in my videos. I think maybe once I shouted Jason because it was his birthday. But I don't usually shout to my children. It's not because I don't love them. It's just that my children are grown ups now. And I'm really making these videos for young children. But I love them because they're my children. I hope you can appreciate that. I also want to send a special shout to my cuddles. Mm-hmm. Cuddles. You are so brave. You are so strong. You are so big and brave and strong. Did you know that, Cuddles? And I love you so very much. Thank you, Cuddles. I really appreciate your kisses. I really appreciate them. I admire how strong you are. Well, that's it. Talk to you guys later. I have another story for next week. I have three more stories actually. So I have 3 weeks worth of stories. And then I have a few more that I'm going to order. I'm getting my mom's favorite story. I think you guys will like that one as well. But in the meantime, abrazos y besos. You are loved from far away. Love from far, far away. Have a good evening. Good night.